Thanks, Kara, and welcome everybody. So as we mentioned in the title, we're going to explore some issues with testing and hopefully offer some solutions for you. So really 4 sections here. We'll do a quick introduction to the topic. We'll start to look at the issues with testing, in some depth, and then we'll move into some suggested solutions. And then we'll take your questions at the end. So, quick introduction. I think everybody will agree that testing is really key to ensuring software quality and reliability, and of course testing will take place whether you do it or your customer does it. Having you do it and find the bugs is obviously much better than having your customer find them. The issue with it is, particularly with the more traditional or waterfall methodologies, testing occurs really late in the development cycle. So any schedule slips, development takes too long, or coding takes too long, or something along those lines, the test team pays for it because their schedule gets compressed, because as we all know, the end date or delivery date doesn't ever seem to slip out. So we're going to explore some of the problems and help we come up with some solutions. One of the issues is that the test teams are often isolated from the development teams. In many cases these days, the test team and the development team are on opposite sides of the world, and hence 12 hours out of sync with each other. Communications is tough, but it's key to successful testing. Both teams need to interact with each other, whether they know they're doing it or not, but it is key. So some of the causes, I've categorized the things today into 5 major categories. 1, requirements. 2, as I just mentioned, collaboration between the developers and testers, or lack thereof. These days, there's regulatory and compliance process issues that you have to attend to and deal with during testing. The simple question of what do I test, one of the categories, and then finally, what do I do when the schedule does slip, or how can I help mitigate the impact of schedule slips. Requirements, quite a few issues with those. The first one, I have missing, ambiguous, and unattainable. My favorite unattainable requirement is the system shall support all future protocols, which is a little tough to test unless you invent the time machine. We're not going to go into that today because that really falls into the category of requirements management. We'll focus more on testing. From a testing point of view, requirements change. No matter what your process is, if you have a requirements freeze date, and requirements aren't going to change after that, they still do. Customer makes changes, you find errors with them, and so forth. You need to be able to manage them effectively. If they're not managed effectively, your testing quickly gets out of control. Some of the questions to ask: which test case are impacted by a requirements change? When a customer comes in and changes the thing that he wants, his customer level requirement or specification, what has to change? And my testing, do I have a test case for that requirement? If so, what is it? Does the change to the requirement warrant a change to the test case? And then vice versa, which requirements are impacted by a change to a test case? The impact analysis kind of goes both ways. If I make change to one, what do I have to do on the other end? And not being able to effectively manage this is a problem, a big problem. And then finally, requirements not associated with a test case. If I've got a customer level requirement and no associated test case, I can't validate that requirement. So we don't know if that capability is in the system or not. But you have to be able to identify quickly which requirements do not have an associated test case and correct the issue. Collaboration issues, as I mentioned, with the waterfall or more traditional processes.